Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the Spirit of Truth. This book that was psychographed by two mediums, which is a phenomenon in itself, because you go through the book and you don't perceive any differences in style. It's a true phenomenon in mediumship, in the abilities of humanity. The day our planet discovers that, will have changed. Right now, we're blind to the sublimity of sacred mediumship. We still use mediumship to our own benefit, to ask for healings, to ask for help. But there will be a day in which we're going to use mediumship 24/7 under the principles of Christ consciousness, and the life on earth will be not only a breeze, but it's going to be great. That's what we're doing right now. We're preparing for that time. Today, one of the spirits of many that came through the mediums, Waldo, Vieira, and Chico Xavier, comes back, André Luiz. André Luiz is this smiling doctor, the doctor who comes from the beyond with his generosity to share with us extensions of the truth. In the Gospel according to Spiritism, there is a chapter 16 titled, You Cannot Serve Both God and Mammon, meaning the world. Specifically in item 9 talks about true ownership. It's a message from Pascal in 1860 at Kardec's time, and Pascal said, humans truly possess only what they can take with them from this world. What then find upon arriving and what they leave behind upon departing, they can only enjoy during their stay. However, since they are forced to abandon it, they can only enjoy it and not truly possess it. What then do we truly possess? Nothing that is for the use of their body, but everything that is for the use of their soul, intelligence, knowledge, and moral qualities. Of course, the message is longer than that, but this is the question for us today. André Luiz brought a message that was psychographed by one of the mediums, Waldo Vieira, and brings to you and I a meditation on true ownership. The things you have, are they yours? Because I say, my phone, but if I died now, this phone is not mine. So it's not mine in reality, true ownership. So then, how do I decide what to do with the things that I have? So here we come. You and I are being invited today, to think about the true ownership, our behavior, our attachment feelings to the things that we temporarily enjoy because we don't even own them. Are you ready? These are hard things, but the truth is the truth. Can we handle the truth? Here we come, André Luiz, charity, and you. Very personal. He begins by saying, you believe that only charity can save the world, but do not delay in the position of a commentator. But do you believe, my friend? Do you believe that the world will be better with charity and only charity? Because I know people who would say, no, the government has to do things. I remember once in Brazil, I told a person, let's go and help those people who are there living in Islam. And this person said, it's not my problem. It's the government's problem. It's not my problem. And I was shocked because this is so blinding. And many people think like that people's issues are the government's issues or their own issues. And what can we do? And they don't want to help. They don't want to help. But for us, you and I, who believe that only charity will do it, because the disposition of the collective will receive the call from every individual, charitable hearts. But we can't simply say, today, André Luiz is asking you and I to do something more. Do not tell us that you are poor and unable to contribute to the renewing campaign of the sublime virtue. So let us see if if every week you allocate an amount corresponding to a soft drink or some shots of alcoholic beverage, and you allocate that to services in any hospital, at the end of the month, there will be medication for a patient. Yes, some patients don't have financial conditions to buy their medication. Doctors prescribe, but they can't buy. We need to help. And sometimes taking things that we're going to do only for ourselves and giving it to others will help them out. If you renounce going to a movie theater once in 5 times, addressing them money to a daycare, after 2 or 3 weeks, that institution will have more milk in favor of the children who are in need. If you suppress one packet of your cigarettes in every 5 of your private use and dedicate the fruit of this renunciation to a house built like a shelter, there will be more comfort for those who are living there. If you save clothes, like 1 in 5 pieces, to give to others who are less fortunate, at the end of a year, there will be more resources to dress somebody who wouldn't have those resources. Do not expect the kindness of others, he's saying to us. Remember what you can do by yourself. It is possible that you're going to tell us that the superfluous is a fruit of your own sweat, and that it's not up to us to express an opinion on the way that you use your glass, that you watch movies, that you smoke, your fashion, because they are all based on your own expense. Naturally, you are right by saying that it will not be up to us to challenge your right. Will is a sacred attribute of the Spirit, a gift from God to us, so that we can decide for ourselves as to the direction of our own destiny. But our reminder is only a suggestion to the companions who believe in the power of charity and will only really win any value if there is any link between charity and you. Inevitably, there is a law in the universe, the law of justice, love, and charity. It's law. And you and I, in this reincarnation, are revisiting our attachments, our true ownership. So, this is how you and I are going to think today. As Andre Luiz points out, it's such a beautiful message because he says it's just a recommendation. Let us not forget that we're free to choose. But, as my father used to say, we're free to choose, but we are forced to reap what we were sowing. So we can choose anything. We choose selfishness, we're going to grow, cultivate selfishness. We choose pride, like I see people during this pandemic. They have a little bit better financial conditions and they fly away somewhere and they think, I'm not going to here wait. It's been too long without seeing my family, without traveling, without a vacation. And there are people who right now don't have food on the table. In the US alone, we had before the pandemic 35 million people above the line of poverty. Now we have 50 million. We're talking about 50 million people in the US alone, besides other countries. Right now, more people need our help than before the pandemic. Not only our prayers, but they need our donations. And here, Andre Luiz is not talking about only the moral aspect, he's talking about the physical one. Let's look at our children's room, the many toys that they have, and think, hmm, do we really own it? This is a temporary concession by God. So, right now, we are being asked to exercise detachment. When we go to the book, Heaven and Hell by Kardec, we're going to find the very description in the first chapter of the second part of the book, Heaven and Hell, which is a fascinating part of the book. Later, we'll find cases that you can hear at Kardec Radio, yes, in programs that were done by Sunshine, and also that were recorded by 54 voices in our channel in SoundCloud. So you and I are being asked today to revisit detachment because there in the book Heaven and Hell, Kardec explains to us that the greatest source of suffering when we discarnate comes from attachments. In another book named Vote, I Came Back, studied here at Kardec Radio years ago at 11 p.m., you remember. Brother Jacob is discarnating, he's a spiritist. Dr. Bezerra de Menezes brings him to his home, and in his house, he says, he's still acclimating himself in the process of discarnation. He sees that amongst the objects that he owned, quote unquote, owned, there was a pen. And he sees fluidic links from the pen connected to his perispirit. And he doesn't understand. Dr. Bezerra de Menezes explains. He says, those links are our attachments. If we don't detach, we're anchored. That's why many people suffer when they discarnate. Attachments to things, to people. So the message today by Andre Luiz is twofold in terms of emotional exercises, spiritual exercises, moral exercises. He's asking us to practice a new concept of ownership. So we are going to get here together in our whiteboard and we will write true ownership. Who really owns what we say we have? So first, we need to practice detachment. The second is giving away, donating to others who need. And you may be saying, but Vanessa, it's so hard because some people dare to say that even in Brazil is hard, which I find it so shocking. Oh, you don't really know who needs it. Where do you live? Because it's very clear. Even in the US, when I go through the car I'm driving, and I pass by a homeless, he doesn't need anything. He needs something because he would not be in the streets begging for something. At least he needs a prayer. He needs respect. But he also needs that you and I give him or her something. We need to empower ourselves to doing this. So today, in the next 24 hours, you and I are asked to do these twofold exercises, to look at the things we own and learn to detach and quickly pass it on to people who need. As he said, oh, but I don't have enough money. He said, we always have something, always. And Andre Luiz is not talking about donating $1 million. He's saying 1 cup of coffee, and I'm saying figuratively speaking. How often people in the streets, they would love to drink something hot, or in the shelters where dramas are happening every day. Nursing homes, maybe you can donate a bouquet of flowers every month to a nursing home. Send some pizza boxes to hospitals who are in need, or bringing toys to organizations that would accept those toys because our children will play with them once a day, once a month, or once a year. And children will probably play with those toys every day because they have no other toys. Clothes, anything. What a beautiful invitation. So you and I in the next 24 hours are going to spend the day lighter, rechanneling our temporary ownership. We don't really own it, as Pascal said in the Gospel According to Spiritism. But don't forget the vibrations. Let's not postpone it, because he says we believe in the power of charity, and we will only really win anything if there is any link between charity and you. He's talking about the true victory of the soul, charity. Let us practice charity and feel better and spread happiness. Thank you, friends, for joining us at Cardiac Radio once again. We wish you many blessings. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to write to us at cardiacradio@gmail.com. Thank you.